Hare Krishna. Just give 1 minute, please. Okay, sorry, just technical problems. All sorted. Let's make a start with Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jayo Giravardhari Gopijana Vallabha Jayo Giravardhari Shodanandana Ajjana Ranjana Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tirvanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Agyan Timirhanasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadameyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathamritam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pran Mami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatu Brehescha Kirpa Sindhu Bevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Nama Nama Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Te Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasdi Gaur Bhakt Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham kroti vachalam pangum langyate girim yat kirpa tamaham vande Shri Gurundin taranam Paramanandam Adhyam Shri Chaitanya Ishram Hariyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamaduri Nashta Presha Abdireshu Nityam Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nestiki. Okay, so nearly over with this chapter, and so as I said, like next Wednesday we'll have the overview as well, so please do join. So last time we were comparing our lifestyle, our habits to the animals, or Srila Prabhupada was telling us in the purport. So it says that like dogs, we serve our masters, the multinationals, who gain. We give them all our hours of time, and they're the ones who are making all the money, and they keep us to the minimum, and we waste our lives just serving, whereas we should be serving the real master, that's Krishna. But I guess there's a balance. The idea is to get a balance on both work and spirituality. And also how the hogs, the kind of stuff they eat, and human beings also, they eat anything, seriously. They, around the world, people are eating all sorts of stuff, unimaginable, and they eat it. And there's people in the forests, even in India, northeast, India. There are forests there, and they live off the land. They will eat anything that lives in the forest. And I'm not talking about fruits and vegetables or berries. I'm talking about animals. Whatever they can find in the forest, they eat it. And this is happening in India. So it's not no surprise to read this. And then asses, they work really hard, and they're a little bit lusty. Although they get kicked about, they're still chasing after the same thing. And human beings can be compared to that as well. And then we talk about the camels, how they're enjoying giving, oozing their own blood. They enjoying, and this is what we use gallons and gallons of blood for work, to make money, and in our sense gratification. That gallons and gallons blood should be used for making new devotees, for helping Krishna's mission. And then we're talking about the frogs. We are sort of going on making the vibrating like the frog, whereas we should be using our tongue for tasting prasad and preaching Krishna's name. So everything comes back to Krishna. So all our senses, our working senses, and information gathering senses, information acquiring senses, we use for our own purposes, whereas everything belongs to Krishna, and it should be used in Krishna's service as much as possible. So basically at the moment we are, as was mentioned, two-legged animals, and we have to check our behavior, that are we behaving like animals or like proper human beings. It's about evolution. Although Darwin's theory talks about evolution coming from the monkey to a man, but what have we done? What changes have we made through this evolution? Have we changed in any way, or are we still behaving like the animals? And what was the point of the evolution? Because Darwin's theory does not contain anything about spirituality. It has a mention. He's talked about evolution, how intelligent we have become, and kind of things, skills we have acquired, but it doesn't say anything about that now that you are a human, you can use this body and mind and intelligence to understand your relationship with the Lord, does the same thing about that. It just stays on the material platform. But in fact, the evolution means that we apply ourselves in the right way for what purpose we're meant for. Okay, so we're going to 21 now. Hare Krishna. Bara param patkrita jastam api utamangam na namen mukundam shavel karau na kurute saparyam hare lasat kanchan kankanava. So baharaha, bhar as we say, a great burden. Param, heavy. Pat, silk. Kirita, turban. Justam, dressed with. Api, even. Uttam, upper. Angam, part of the body. Na, never. Namet, bow down. Mukandam, Lord Krishna, the deliverer. Shavau, dead bodies. Karau, hands. No, do not. Kurute, do. Saprayam, worshipping Hare of the personality Godhead. Lasat, glittering. Kanchan, made of gold. Kankanau, bangles. Va, even thou. So, translation. The upper portion of the body, thou crowned with a silk turban, is only a heavy burden if not bowed down before the personality of Godhead. Who can afford mukti, freedom? And the hands, thou decorated with glittering bangles, are like those of a dead man if not engaged in service of the personality of Godhead. Hari. So there's no Krishna, that there's no life, that is good as dead. As stated herein before, there are three kinds of devotees of the Lord. The first class devotee does not at all see anyone who is not in the service of the Lord. But the second class devotee makes distinctions between devotees and non-devotees. The second class devotees are therefore meant for preaching work, and as referred to in the above verse, they must loudly preach the glories of the Lord. The second class devotee accepts disciples from the section of third class devotee or non-devotees. Sometimes the first class devotee also comes down to the category of the second class devotee for preaching work. So although they're Uttam Adhikari, they come down so they can preach and they can distinguish between devotees and non-devotees. But the common man who is expected to become at least a third class devotee is advised herein to visit the temple of the Lord and bow down before the deity, even though he may be a very rich man or even a king with a silk turban or crown. The Lord is the Lord of everyone, including the great kings and emperors, and men who are rich in the estimation of mundane people must therefore make it a point to visit the temple of Lord Shri Krishna and regularly bow down before the deity. The Lord in the temple in the worshipful form is never to be considered to be made of stone or wood, for the Lord in his Archa incarnation as the deity in the temple shows immense favor to the fallen souls by his auspicious presence. By the hearing process, as mentioned herein before, this realization of the presence of the Lord in the temple is made possible. As such, the first process in the routine work of devotional service, hearing, is the essential point. Hearing by all classes of devotees from the authentic sources like Bhagavad-Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is essential. The common man who is puffed up with his material position and doesn't bow down before the deity of the Lord in the temple, or who defies temple worship without any knowledge of the science, must know that his so-called turban or crown will only succeed in further drowning him in the water of the ocean of material existence. A drowning man with a heavy weight on his head is sure to go down more swiftly than those who have no heavy weight. A foolish, puffed up man defies the science of God and says that God has no meaning for him. But when he is in the grip of God's law and is caught up by some disease like cerebral thrombosis, the godless man sinks into the ocean of nescience by the weight of his material acquisition. Advancement of material science without God consciousness is a heavy load on the head of human society, and so one must take heed of this great warning. The common man, if he has no time to worship the Lord, may at least engage his hands for a few seconds in washing or sweeping the Lord's temple. Maharaj Pratap Rudra, the great powerful king of Orissa, was always very busy with heavy state responsibilities, yet he made it a point to sweep the temple of Lord Jagannath at Puri once a year during the festival of the Lord. The idea is that, however important a man one may be, he must accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. This God consciousness will help a man even in his material prosperity. Maharaj Pratap Rudra's subordination before Lord Jagannath made him a powerful king, so much so that even the great Pathan in his time could not enter into Orissa on account of the powerful Maharaj Pratap Rudra. and at last Maharaj Pratap Rudra was graced by Lord Sri Chaitanya on the very grounds of his acceptance of subordination to the Lord of the universe. So even though a rich man's wife has glittering bangles made of gold on her hands, she must engage herself in rendering service to the Lord. So this is very interesting, and quote, Srila Prabhupada has quoted the example of Maharaj Pratap Rudra. Now, who could be more opulent than him, than a king? And who could be more busier than the king? So nobody can make that excuse. I'm too busy to listen to katha, I'm too busy to come to temple, I'm too busy to do some worship at home. So, and we get examples of Srila Prabhupada. Somebody says, I can't do this and I can't do that, I'm too old, or I don't have the time, or I don't have any money. So, Srila Prabhupada, he defied every kind, whatever you excuse one makes for not doing bhakti. Srila Prabhupada, he came with nothing, and yet he defied all the odds, and made success and showed us what jiva can do. So, and here is saying that don't think that your material opulence will save you, or it will actually drown you more. Right? So you must take the shelter of the Lord. Don't think because I have this that I don't need God, because everyone needs God. What we're doing is just a temporary drama. We are put in different positions according to our previous karma, and we are not that. We are actually understand the relationship that is eternal. The rest of these things are temporary. Today we may be king, tomorrow we could be pauper. So things can change very, very easily, and if not in other life, in the same life as well. So one thing which is a constant, one thing that's eternal, one thing that is truth, is our relationship with the Lord, and we should never forget that. So here 21, it says, don't commit seva aparadh. They are not there for our sense gratification, they are there for purification by serving them. We think Krishna deities are order supplier, but it's meant to be worshipped and glorified. Okay, so anyway, so I'm not sure how to connect that with the purport, but the main thing is that we don't keep asking as well, for material things, because we just drown ourselves more and more in material opulence, and that's not. We're looking for bhakti. We ask Krishna, if the Lord appears in front of us, what can I do for you? You ask for service, which we do anyway every day when we are chanting. At least that's what we should be doing by chanting. And also, we tell Krishna that I should always remember you and never forget you, because we forget him every moment. We forget him. So it's very important to remember that. So not put our opulences and our wealth and our ourselves first. Always put Krishna in the center. Bharayate te nayan naranam lingani vishtu na nikshato ye padao nirnam tau drum janma bhajao kshetrani nanu vrajato hare yao. So bharayate, like plumes of a peacock, te, those nayane, nine eyes, nara, nam of men, lingani, forms, Vishnu of the personal Godhead, does not nirikshata, look upon, ye, all such padav, legs, narnam of men, thou, those, drum janama, being born of the tree, bhajao, like that, kshetrani, holy places, or kshetrani, holy places, na, never, anu vrajataha, goes after, hare, of the Lord, yao, which. So the eyes which don't look at the symbolic representation of the personality Godhead Vishnu, his forms, name, quality, etc., are like those printed on the plumes of the peacock, and the legs which do not move to the holy places where the Lord is remembered are considered to be like tree trunks. So basically everything is a waste of time if there's no Krishna in there. Even the Vedas, the scriptures, Narad Muni said, a waste of time if we haven't glorified the Lord. And that was the despondence of Vyasadeva. He says, I have done so much work, I have spent so much time and energy, but I still feel there's something missing. There's no Lord in there, and it's definitely not good. It's lifeless. Excuse me. Especially for the householder devotees, the path of deity worship is strongly recommended. So Srila Prabhupada, when he came to the West, he recommended two things. That we should go out and chant, do Harinam, and let people know about the Mahamantra, which they don't know about, anything about. And also, for ourselves, we should build a relationship with the Lord by doing deity worship. It's not we're not playing with toys on the altar. They are real, bona fide deities. That's how they look in the spiritual world, and we are worshipping them. At least we are practicing worshipping them and building a relationship with them as far as possible. Every householder, by the direction of the spiritual master, must install the deity of Vishnu, forms like Brother Krishna, Lakshmi Narayan, Sitaram especially, or any other form of the Lord like Narasimha, Varaha, Gauranitai, Matsya, Kurma, Shalagram Shila, and many other forms of Vishnu like Trivikrama, Keshava, Achyuta, Vasudeva, Narayan, and Damodar, as recommended in the Vaishnav Tantra or Puran. So this is why they are bona fide, because it's mentioned in the scriptures. And one's family should worship strictly following the directions and regulation of Archana Vidhi. Any member of the family who is above 12 years of age should be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada actually initiated pre-teens as well, teenagers, 11, 12-year-old children as well. They wanted it, so he gave them the initiation by a bona fide spiritual master. And all the members of the household should be engaged in the daily service of the Lord, beginning from morning 4 a.m. till 10 p.m. By performing Mangalartika, Niranjana, Archana, Puja, Kirtan, Shingar, Bhog, Vaikali, Sandhya, Artrika, Path, Bhog, Shayan, Artrika, etc. Engagement in such worship of the deity under the direction of bona fide spiritual master will greatly help the householder to purify their very existence and make rapid progress in spiritual knowledge. So we can do, much as we can or as little as we can, do something. But the thing to remember is that these processes are purifying, they're purifiers. Srila Prabhupada wanted everyone to chant 64 rounds, but it's just not possible if you're working, especially. You cannot do 64 rounds. But the idea was that doing 64 rounds will purify you a lot quicker than 16 rounds. But if that's all we can manage, 16 rounds, and that is just about, we're going like from morning to the evening sometimes, trying to catch us 16 rounds. But that's what it is, and that's what it is. And but it was actually recommended that chant 64 rounds to make fast progress. Simply theoretical book knowledge is not sufficient for a neophyte devotee. Book knowledge is theoretical, whereas the archana process is practical. So just knowledge on its own, it's nothing if it's not put in practice. What is knowledge? It's just words if they're not used. It's like banknotes. It's only paper unless you can put it into use. And when they say, these notes are now out of circulation, then what do you do with them? You can just burn them, because they have no value whatsoever. So knowledge is just words on paper if they're not applied. Okay. But book knowledge is theoretical, whereas the archana process is practical. Spiritual knowledge must be developed by a combination of theoretical and practical knowledge. So need both. And that is the guaranteed way for attainment of spiritual perfection. The training of devotional service for a neophyte devotee completely depends on the expert spiritual master who knows how to lead his disciple to make gradual progress towards the path back home, back to Godhead. One should not become a pseudo spiritual master as a matter of business to meet one's family expenditures. One must be an expert spiritual master to deliver the disciple from the clutches of impending death. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has defined the bona fide qualities of a spiritual master, and one of the verses in that description leads Shri Vigrahardan Nityanana Shingartan Mandir Shri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Shingaratan Mandir Majanado Yukta Se Bhaktam Shaniyanjatopi Vande Guru Shri Sharanaravinda. This is prayer we do in the morning. Samsara Dava. Shri Vigraha is the archa or suitable worshipful form of the Lord, and the disciple should be engaged in worshipping the deity regularly by Shingar. So this is what the spiritual master does. So we glorify the spiritual master because he engages in the worshipping of the deity regularly by Shingar, by proper decoration and dressing, as also by Mandir Marjana, the matter of cleansing the temple. The spiritual master teaches the neophyte devotee all these kindly and personally to help him gradually in the realization of the transcendental name, quality, form, etc. of the Lord. Only attention engaged in the service of the Lord, especially in dressing and decorating the temple, accompanied by musical kirtan and spiritual instructions from scriptures, can save the common man from the hellish cinema attractions, rubbish sex songs broadcast everywhere by radios. and which is so true. Whether it's a Hindi song or a Punjabi song, is so
English song.
well, yeah, and English songs, of course, is always about this man, this woman, this man, this woman. She left him, he left her, and da 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 da. Give my heart to you, and I gave my heart, and then you gave it away. It's always going on about these things. If one is unable to maintain a temple at home, it should go to another's temple where all the above performances are regularly executed. Visiting the temple of a devotee and looking at the profusely decorated forms of the Lord, well dressed in a well decorated, sanctified temple, naturally infuse the mundane mind with spiritual inspiration. People should visit holy places like Vrindavan, where such temples and worship the deity are specifically maintained. Formerly, all rich men, like kings and rich merchants, constructed such temples under the direction of expert devotees of the Lord, like the 6 Goswamis. The 6 Goswamis have got temples in Vrindavan, named after them, or not named after them, but they are known to have built those temples. And it is a duty of the common man to take advantage of these temples and festivals observed in these holy places of pilgrimage by following in the footsteps of great devotees Anubraj. One should not visit all these sanctified pilgrimage places and temples with sightseeing in mind, but one must go to such temples and sanctified places immortalized by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord and be guided by proper men who know the science. This is called Anubraj. Anu means to follow. It is therefore best to follow the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master. Even in visiting temples and the holy places of pilgrimage, one who does not move in that way is as good as a standing tree, condemned by the Lord not to move. And trees are there something like thousands of years, just standing in one place. The moving tendency of the human being is misused by visiting places for sightseeing. The best purpose of such traveling tendency could be fulfilled by visiting the holy places established by great Acharyas, and thereby not being misled by the atheistic propaganda of money-making men who have no knowledge of spiritual matters. So there you are. So in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, of the 64 things that we should be doing, of which 5 are the most important, which includes association of devotees and listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, chanting, and taking prasad, and deity worship. That's like the 5 top things that we cannot avoid, we must do. So you should only eat prasad, or at least as often as possible. And deity worship is very important to build a relationship with the Lord. And obviously chanting, that can't be given up at all. And association of devotees is very important, because that's our inspiration. And also, together we are strong against Maya. Right? Together we are strong. On our own, Maya can easily target. Just like the lion will look out for the buffalo that is standing alone. He doesn't go into the herd. He'll look out for the one that is standing alone, or who looks a bit weak. We will go and pounce on him and get him. Maya, same way, is waiting for someone to be away from the devotees, right? And he will come and attack you. It attacks you just for just when you are without devotee, just for a while. When you're in your own company, Maya comes and attacks you, or he tries to attack you. So you quickly take the shelter of Srila Prabhupada's lectures, his kirtan. Just take the shelter of the devotees. If you can't be in association of the devotees physically, then we have so much media now. We can't avoid. There's no way we can miss it. It's there. Take the shelter of that. And of course, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, very, very important. And these things purify you. Very important for purification. and knowledge and inspiration, and to put into practice what is telling us. So that's 22. It makes one or the whole family fully engaged. Use your time around the deity. It's purifying and make rapid progress in spiritual knowledge. Temples are embassies of the spiritual world. With the proper consciousness, we can add value to the environment. No need to criticize, find fault, just keep consciousness pure. Yeah, so, whatever we gain from this, just try and hold on to it and not, use our consciousness, pollute our consciousness with nonsense. Okay, thank you so much. Let's hear from yourselves. So basically, today last time we talked about animalistic propensities, and today Srila Prabhupada explained to us what we should do with our time and how we should be using our senses, working senses, and knowledge acquiring senses. Okay, and we'll now Punyakaksh Prabhu today. So we'll go straight to Kira Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, I'm ready for you today. Who is our master? It's not Maya Devi. Krishna is our master, and we must not forget that. And yes, if we continue to have Maya Devi as our master, then we are no different to animals who are four-legged. We are bipeds, but with animalistic tendencies. We use fire like the cavemen and instruments to tear through flesh and consume grapes and berries, which are distilled into fermented alcohol. And so we need to be mindful of how our consciousness is developed. And at levels of as devotees, there are many types of devotees, different types of stratifications. And we have to work towards a level where we are the servant of Krishna, where Krishna leads by example. He is Lord for everyone. He does not discriminate between the king and the dog eater. And in the same way, kings in the past, who may even have been from Islamic backgrounds, Mughal dynasties, realized who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was and were prepared to sweep up the temples just to get darshan of Mahaprabhu. We have leaders now who are prepared to sweep the streets. Narendra Modi gives a good example, leading by example. And that's the way it should be, Be as you would want others to treat you. And this knowledge we get should be put to good use. And knowledge for the sake of accumulating knowledge is redundant. It's only good to the individual, but that knowledge has to be put into action. But there are also those fake gurus, fake people who have no knowledge, but ready to put into action little bits of understanding. And they do more harm than good. But equally, there are foolish people who follow misguided, foolish people who do magical tricks. And we have to realize that if you can understand that God is one who can lift up Govardhan on his little pinky, then if a misguided, fake fakir can do the same, then he must be God. All is futile unless we have until we have Krishna in our lives. And therefore, we have to build up that relationship with Krishna everywhere on a daily basis. The chanting of the rounds is necessary because that builds up that bedrock. And that bedrock enables us to interact with other people. And we must take other people with us because that's our role. To serve humanity is more important than just to serve yourself. Help others to escape the clutches of Maya. Krishna helps those who help themselves. And so he is ready to protect each and every one of us. But we are empowered now to impart that knowledge of bhakti, shastra, and wisdom, which we had Ved Vyas, Krishna himself, was able to impart in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and Krishna directly to Arjuna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly to the sages. And this is no ordinary experience. This is extraordinary. And so therefore, when we experience this and we go to the Dham, don't go as a tourist taking selfies to put on Facebook. Go there to immerse yourself in the holy Ganga and immerse yourself and merge and have that relationship with the divine in the Dham. This is a very special, purificatory, auspicious opportunity we have been given, and we should not miss it. If we do, then Maya has got the better of us. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, it's all about the consciousness, how we apply it. When we are in the Dham, then we should be in the right frame of mind. What are we here for? Trying different Braj recipes. What are we looking for? What are we looking for? Because what are we looking for? That's what you'll find. So we're looking for Krishna in Braj, and through the Acharyas we understand the process, and that's how our consciousness should be. People look for different things, like you said. You want to tell people, oh, I was there, I saw this and that, just for it's like good entertainment and fun for them. But ultimately, our aim is to find Krishna and find the great acharyas that are there, who can tell us their realizations and the experiences and share with us. So thank you. And I think at that time, not all the kings were Muslim. So I think Pratap Rudra was not Muslim. Lord Chaitanya didn't want to meet him because he was a king, and kings are heavily into sense gratification. Sense gratification is thrown at their feet. They cannot avoid it. But King Pratap Rudra was very different, and this is exactly what we're talking about in these two verses. That just because you have opulence, you have some kind of position, don't think that you are bigger than God. You're still servant of God, no matter how high position you get, because there's nobody higher. We're still answerable to God. We're still answerable to birth, death, old age, and disease. Even a king cannot save himself from death, he has to live. So, and Pratap Rudra realizes this. He realized that Mahaprabhu is God, and he'll do anything to meet him, to get his blessings. And his spiritual master was, if I got this right, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He advised him to dress like a sweeper or like ordinary man. Before he tried to have audience with the Lord, and the Lord refused. But then he went like an ordinary person. But Mahaprabhu recognized him, but yet he respected his endeavor and eventually gave in to him. And same Krishna, he will we can purchase Krishna through our bhakti. He's happy to be purchased provided that we're paying the right price. It doesn't come cheap. And Pratap Rudra, he achieved that, and the Lord showed him his form, and made him very empowered. Thank you, Prabhu. In terms of the Muslims, Chand Qazi, he had to be dealt with properly. He said no nursing that they have to sort him out, and now we have the Samad of Chand Qazi in Mayapur. Krishna knows how to deal with different people. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hina Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna all. Hope you're well. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji made some very, very nice points. I think just to add, I think for me, it's quite nice to see understand the different classes of devotees, which we explained in the first verse. It helps us to understand just where are we on this path, and it also helps to set a standard of what what a good devotee or a best devotee looks like as well. I think these verses made me think as well how important our sadhana or our devotional practice is, and it's absolutely key in developing our devotion to God and to Krishna. So this and as we've covered off, this devotional practice, essentially what we do today will help to build our life for tomorrow. Essentially, it just builds. It's a practice, and it's called a spiritual practice because every day we try harder. We normally try to build on how we've developed so far. So it's it's natural progression, essentially. This goal, this practice should be our key goal, our key objective in our life. And we should be prioritizing this over and above everything else and mold our life in a way that helps to support our Krishna conscious practice, regardless of the distractions and the many challenges that we may have externally in our life. As Srila Prabhupada said, that there is no impediment, there's no impediment on this path. Even if we just sincerely and attentively chant, then that's all. That even if we do the absolute minimum there, that's sufficient. That's more than that will help to obtain this highest goal, essentially. And just having that that mindset that you are serving the Lord and you're praying to be engaged in His service, that in itself is enough, and that's the biggest benediction of this age. Essentially, it's the biggest yagna of this age. Is just to do that, let alone everything else, and let alone the other devotional practices that we can engage in. So those were my thoughts. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Praveen Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Pranam. Yes, very nice verses. Again, it's reminding us the value of the human life that's been given. How we have to engage our senses, intelligence, wealth, everything in the service of the Lord. And it's given the examples, like in the previous verses, it reminds us not to live like animals, given different examples. And the next verse after that, which was about the ears and tongues to be used properly for hearing and chanting about the Lord. And in this verse, it's about the head and hands to be used properly. So it's basically teaching us humility and service to the Lord. So when we're bowing down, they say even a rich person or a king, you have to bow down because the Lord is the supreme. So it doesn't matter how rich you are, because end of the day, everything belongs to Krishna. He's the proprietor, he's the owner, he's the controller of everything. And we have to use everything for his service only. And then it talks about qualifications of a guru as well. As guru is one who engages you in the service of the Lord. And then visiting temples, it's not just for sightseeing. We have to follow in the footsteps of the Acharyas, of the Goswamis, And the reason visiting temple is to engage our senses, because when we are there, And we are so fortunate because whether we see a picture or the earth vigra, we just see it as a Lord, because it's non-different. The earth vigra is the authorized form of the Lord, non-different from the Lord. And then Srila Prabhupada has given, maybe other acharyas as well, I don't know about that, but we know that Srila Prabhupada has given us the Archavidhi, how to worship the deities at home. So that the whole idea is to engage our senses in the service. And in Bhagavad-Gita, it got the example of Ambrish Maharaj, how Ambrish Maharaj used all his senses in the service of the Lord, his mind, the lotus feet of the Lord, his hand cleaning the temple, and ears hearing about the pastimes. So like that, we have to engage all our senses. And I like the word you said, embassy, like, it's embassy of the Lord, the temples are. So it's very nice. And then Pratap Parudra, yes, we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita how, and his determination as well, because he never gave up, because he kept trying, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not accepting him. I think he accepted his son before accepting Pratap Parudra, and he carried on serving the Lord. And how the menial service, I think that is more important really to purify us rather than saying, yes, I'm a Brahmana, I'm going to do this deity worship. I think when we're doing the menial service, that brings humility and more purification as well. So yeah, and then other thing came to my mind was when we went to Vrindavan, we were told to read this passage from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam about Akrur when he went to Vrindavan, how to develop the mood to visit Vrindavan. Yeah, thank you so much. So it might seem like it is repetition, but it is showing the importance again, and Mataji always make a point about practical. So this is moving from theory to practical. So that's why we've got deities at home, so we can develop the relationship, how to serve them nicely, engage in everything, cleaning the temple, decorating the deities, cooking prasad, singing, and everything. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for the wonderful examples. Vijay Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, everyone. Yes, I was thinking that bowing down and cleaning, these are things which are quite easy to do, really, for anybody, really. It's just the mentality that can stop you. You might think you're too puffed up to do that. But then Krishna's also giving us a chance that do it at home then. Do deity worship. Have your own temple room or place and do it there, and then build your sort of get rid of your ego, your false ego, and if you practice there, it's like giving us a practice in private, and then in public we can also then do that later on. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, and like you said, there's different categories of service we can do according to our, time, place, circumstance, but it depends on, what we're looking for. So Bhagavad-Gita explains, if you can't do this, I think it's chapter 9, can't do this and you do that, and if you can't do this, you do that. The different steps are given, and they go all the way to, start from the, giving your mind to Manmana Bhava Bhakto, giving that to the Lord. But if you can't do that, then I think right at the bottom is that, okay, just give some charity, then for Krishna, in Krishna service, and you can also give your time and serve. So yeah, there's different. Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Yeah, in those verses, it's this explained about how to use our senses, and he's saying if we don't use our senses properly, and that's not good. We have to use our senses for, if we're using our head to bow down before the Lord, or even our hands to serve the Lord, then it's better rather than not using those senses. And eyes and legs as well, they're explaining about here. And they're saying you're just decorating these things. It's not good. You have to serve the Lord, and you have to visit the places. So then you're serving the Lord and using the devotion. and always remember Krishna and always keep it in him in center, so then you can do this bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Absolutely. Yeah. So, we are giving things for a purpose and we misuse them, even material life as well. If we're giving something for one purpose and we use it for another purpose, then, we are basically cheating, right? We have a cheating propensity. We're cheating, we're using things in the wrong way for the reason they were given for. Say somebody, we're supposed to take money to the bank, but instead we decide to spend it ourselves. That would be fraud, right? So, we are fraudulent every day. The things that we are given for a particular purpose, we misuse them, and that's also Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami says that that's lack of humility when we misuse things. That think that we have the right to use these things for our own benefit. That's lack of humility as well. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, Ajay Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See, I would say this verse is distinguishing between the opulences, as in spiritual opulence and material opulence. Unfortunately, most people in this world tend to gravitate to material opulence, not realizing that this will make you forget the service of the Lord. And that's very dangerous, will bind you to this world. Whereas the real opulence is a spiritual opulence. And that's where you take the bhakti. And sometimes you find that those that take to the spiritual opulence end up losing the material opulence, and then people wonder what's happening. But actually, this is the blessing of Krishna, that he understands that this is a distraction for you. It takes away anything that is negative towards your bhakti, and it helps you progress in your bhakti. But then it also could be said that sometimes, some of the great devotees actually have a lot of material opulence in terms of wealth and whatnot. So what does that mean? That's just a case of they know how to actually use their opulence properly. They would, whatever money they have, they would use it in the service of Krishna, help preach, help spread the bhakti movement. That's the thing. So it's about understanding that what is the correct opulence and how to use it. So that's why we are, indebted to Guru, because Guru helps us understand how to actually use whatever we do have properly. And we do have something to offer. All of us have something to offer. We might not necessarily be the richest or the smartest or whatnot, but you have something to offer. Nothing, like I said, like example, just sweep the, clean the temple. It's the best service to do, actually, clean the temple. You actually take that position of servant. It's straightforward a lot of time. It's not like, say, like, for example, the deity worship is a great service as well, but there's a lot of rules and regulations, and you can end up committing offenses inadvertently. Whereas cleaning a temple is just it's a lot more straightforward, and you take to that there's less concern in terms of what my intent is or whatnot. You just get on with it. That's all we need to do. We need to get on with it. So that's what we get from this verse, is that the process is there. You just need to engage yourself in the correct form. And if you're not sure how to, then talk to Guru, talk to the senior devotees, and they will guide you. And we are fortunate to have that process. We just need to engage ourselves. And then if you do find yourself deviating, then go back. Sometimes you just need to have your own process. You might need to chant a few rounds if your mind is deviating, or you need to figure out what works for you in terms of getting yourself back. The mind will deviate from time to time, but as long as you have a process, whether how you remember Krishna again, you can get back on track very quickly. It doesn't have to be complete. 1 minute you completely blissed out, next minute you completely forgotten everything. You just have to keep that check there, and then everything falls into place. Even if there are issues here and there, as long as you remember Krishna, then everything follows nicely. So that's all we need to do. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah, just give some service to Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, there's 2 services always available in any temple, wherever you go, whether it's big or small. One is cleaning, the temple, and other is washing the dishes.
I'm going to say cooking.
And yeah, cooking is always done, but alongside the byproduct of cooking is the plenty of dishes accumulated in the sink or in the dishwasher in the temple. So these two services are always there, and anyone can do them. You don't need a certain qualification, or you need some kind of special adhikar or skill. So Krishna is so smart, smarter than the smarter in this world. He has designed everything so perfectly. So just you have to take initiative. This is all he wants, because whatever we are doing here, we'll be doing that in the spiritual world. So we are all apprentices in the class of bhakti. So all I can say is Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And you find in some organizations, the people, the group of people there who are running everything, cooking, cleaning, everything, they won't let you touch anything. They won't even allow you to do that. So I think we should be grateful if we get any service. Start somewhere, any service, and then as people recognize you, they respect you, you build some goodwill, then you can sort of move up and get other services as well. I mean, Krishna's absolute, all services are equal, but even if you think some service is lower, then do it anyway, because like I said, in some organizations they don't even allow you to do that because they think it's their right to do it. So any service we can get, we should be grateful for it. So thank you all so much. Catch up on Monday. Have a great weekend. Granth Rashi Bhagavad Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.